everyone, and welcome back to the Minecraft New Nintendo 3DS Edition Let's Play video, and this is part 142 of my Let's Play series. And as you can see from the last video, there's been quite a bit of updates on my new build that I recently just announced. And my new build, if you haven't seen my previous videos, is going to be a brand new house, but not just any old house. This is going to be a massive mansion, as you can see. So I'm currently at the front of the mansion, as you can see, and there's been quite a bit of updates to the entrance, as you can see from the last time you guys saw this build. So in the last video, I mentioned that I was going to use oak wood planks as the primary block of choice for the walls for this build, but I decided to change it to spruce just because I figured it actually looks a lot better than oak planks. It looks a lot less basic, first of all. And second of all, I think it actually definitely looks a lot better in terms of the fact that the snow biome is behind this. And I did say that as a negative in the last video, but I thought it might actually look a lot better with snow biome there because there's actual spruce trees there, and not to mention there is a ton of them too. So I definitely will not be struggling with materials for this build. So as I go inside of the mansion itself, you can see the outline of the whole area, and you can see how big it is. And you might be wondering what I'm actually going to be doing to fill in all this space. Well, the first floor layout is going to go as follows. So where this birch wood and oak wood plank pattern for the floor is going to be the living room area. So this area is going to be, basically the floor is going to continue a line from here all the way to this wall, and then this whole area is going to be the living room area. And behind this in the middle where this little actual dugout part on the wall is going to be a foyer area. And if you don't know what a foyer is, it's basically a large room inside of a mansion or any house that basically has stairs in the middle that leads to a certain floor or any other room on the side of the house. It's basically a room that you can look up and actually see the floor above you. So yeah, that's basically a simplest term on how to explain an actual foyer. And then on this side of the first floor is going to be where a dining area and kitchen is. So kind of similar to how I did in the first floor of my old house, but this time it's going to be much better. Much more grand and definitely better in terms of the materials I'm going to be using. And on the back left corner next to the future foyer that will be there is going to be a library that will extend over all the floors of the house. And this will also double as my enchantment room and storage for my enchanted books and enchantment table materials. So I also explained in the last video how I want to make rooms for each specific Minecraft necessity like crafting, smelting, potion brewing, and enchantment table, but I kind of put an interesting twist on them, and I figured making a library with the enchanted table room inside of there will actually kind of work well. And as you can see over here, I kind of had some creeper issues off camera because I kind of just fell right into this pit where this creeper exploded beneath the entryway. And that's what this room basically is. It's just the entrance room where it basically will lead to all the future rooms. So in this video, we're going to be doing a little bit of work on this house as well as talking about some other builds I would like to say that I'm going to introduce in the future. So the first thing I want to do is I want to grab some of the spruce. I'm going to continue work on the walls. And then as far as birch is concerned, this isn't really going to have any. So I think I'll just do the oak wood pattern at the moment. And then I'll eat my last piece of rotten flesh as well, because obviously I am really struggling on food right now. So let's go inside of here and work on the walls a little bit. So as far as the new builds announcement in the future, I am actually going to be doing another build in the meantime as I'm building this house. And the reason I'm doing that is just so I can actually have a little bit of a mix of different kinds of builds as I'm trying to make this house, because this is going to take forever to build. And I may still be working on this when it's episode 150. And because of that, I want to introduce some new builds and of course other videos as well that relate to survival things in between me building this. And in the next video, I'm going to be introducing another brand new build that's going to be built where my old house area is. And you guys will see that in, of course, the next video. And that build is going to have quite a bit of water features. So that's definitely something that I haven't really done so far in a lot of my builds, except for the 4K room, because that kind of has a water feature. But this next build is really going to utilize water quite a bit. And I'm hoping that that build will add a little extra flair to my area as well. And of course, I'm not really going to reveal anything about it right now, but in the next video, of course, I'll be doing that. But of course, I'm going to be revealing the full extent of the build in the next video, but I can give you guys a little sneak peek. So it's going to be a kind of a Japanese themed build. And this build inspiration does come from a comment from one of my subscribers on one of my past Let's Play videos. And you guys will, of course, see that comment and, of course, the build in the next video. And, well, now that I have more dirt, let's go ahead and fill in that creeper hole down over here, because this is definitely going to start annoying me. And speaking of holes, I don't know if there's going to be a basement for this house yet. I definitely know that I'm going to make an underground minecart network, so there definitely will be. But will it have any living areas or actual rooms that'll be beneficial for me in the house? I haven't really decided that yet, but probably not, because it'll mostly be reserved for the actual minecart station. So it has me a pretty large build, and in fact, that will probably take the longest out of every single actual mini build within this huge house in general. So that will definitely be very ambitious. But I think it'll be very helpful because as far as some of the other builds in this... Ooh, look at that. They're invisible blocks. Yeah, this glitch does happen sometimes where you place blocks and they just turn invisible. But they are there, they're just invisible. Anyway, as far as builds and, for example, the kitchen, I'm actually going to have a minecart network dedicated to the kitchen from the barn. Because the kitchen's obviously food related. And if I'm going to go grab food, I'm going to go do it from the barn because that has all the animals and, of course, all the crops. So I figured that would be a pretty good use of the minecart underground. So I do have a couple things that I could use in future videos, but as far as it goes right now, there really isn't going to be a whole lot of variation material yet until I really actually get more progress done on the actual rooms itself. So as far as everything else is concerned, that's pretty much all the updates on the first floor of the house and everything that's happening so far. And then of course I also announced the new build happening next video. And that build's me fairly small in comparison to this gargantuan thing that I'm working on. And that will probably be fully completed in the next video, because next video could be a little bit longer to compensate for that. Now for the floor of the foyer, I'm going to be using quartz. And as far as quartz is concerned, it is obviously not really the easiest material to acquire, but I do actually have some quartz already in my chest from my nether adventures. And I'm going to obviously put that to good use in my new build. So at this point in this video, I'm probably just going to go over to the little forest area that I was kind of getting some oak wood out of and just get some birch. Just because obviously I am going to need birch for this build, especially for the living room flooring and of course for other floors in the future. So let's go over and do that. So as you can see, most of the oak trees in this forest are pretty much picked over, and most of the ones left are pretty much just birch. So I'm going to go ahead and collect a couple of these, obviously, as it's getting nighttime too, so perfect timing. Perfect timing, of course, because I'm in a dark area, because the forest is obviously creating a lot more dark light than needed, because all the trees are covering a lot of the natural light. Of course, at night there is no natural light anyway. But there is definitely a lot of lingering apples here from when I was taking out all those oak trees before. So that's definitely a nice, pleasant surprise. And I think I'll actually eat a couple of these because my food bar is starting to look a little sad right now. I think I'll eat all three because almost all of them filled in my food bar to the max. And birch will definitely be my best friend throughout this build because after I was doing lots of planning work off camera, I figured out that birch is going to be one of my most used materials. Of course, spruce is the most used because it's basically entire exterior walls of my house. So I'm going to have to spend tons of time mining out, or not mining out, but definitely, ooh, and see? It's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Yeah, me getting hit by a zombie. In fact, while I'm here, let's go to sleep because that's actually kind of a convenient time. As long as the game doesn't crash and as long as I can get my items back, well, they'll definitely still be there, obviously, because it takes 5 minutes, and I'm definitely going to be there within like a minute, so we'll be perfectly fine in terms of that. And, well, the zombies aren't going to burn unless they stand out of the trees, and it looks like they're both doing that, so, wow, those zombies are definitely dumb, because they would actually be able to survive if they were underneath the trees, but nope, they were not smart enough to do that. But it works for me, because I can get rid of them, of course. Alright, so there's all my items. Let's go and pick all that stuff up. And got some extra spruce as well that I got from my off-camera stuff when I edited it out. So I can also use that for more wall work as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on with this. Birch tree mining. Let's see if there's any others. There's a couple more over here. And this should give me close to a full stack. Let's see where we're at. 33, so we're at a little over half a stack. So this will, all these birch trees here will definitely probably give me at least 50. So that'll be plenty for the time being, especially since the only thing I really have to worry about right now is the actual flooring for the living area. And I think the library will also use a considerable amount of birch as well. But of course, I'm not to that point yet, so I don't really need to worry. And for the most part, this forest is pretty much done. There is a couple more oak trees left, of course, but other than that, all the birch trees look to be completely gone. And with that, this forest is pretty much done. And I think I'm actually going to use this area in the future for a tree farm. So that could also be another small build that I do. Even though it may just be a bunch of saplings just placed all over the place. It may not really be an actual build. It may just be more of a area where I can just place all my spare saplings. But yeah, I'm just going to call it a tree farm anyway. So yeah, now that we have 47 pieces of birch wood, so my estimate was pretty close. But that, like I said, that should be plenty, and that will give me at least 2 stacks of birch wood planks. So we'll be good for the time being, at least for now. Alright, so that's going to go ahead and conclude it for today's video. We'll go ahead and end the video right inside the entryway where the half the floor is gone. But I do have some oak wood now that I collected from the forest that I can, of course, fix that up with. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.